Alrighty, so to go over the mods that I use, just from top to bottom, and then we'll go into each one further. First one I ever downloaded was Autofuel. Autofuel allows you to choose a range of the chest that you want it to be from, and it pulls wood and your ore from the chest into the kiln or smelter, respectively. So I can simply go over here, drop off the stuff, and then you'll actually see it pull it as it goes. Really handy, especially if it's, say, nighttime, you want to sleep, or you just want to go out and explore and not have to worry about anything. Another great example of how you could use it. So just go here, drop it in, automatically takes it. And kind of what I'm doing right now is just stocking up as much as I can on coal. That way I don't have to worry about it ever. Now, the second one I ever downloaded is actually not on here, but it is Torches Eternal. Type it up here just so you can see it. Torches Eternal. And what it does is it allows you to never have to worry about refueling your torches. So it's more of a quality of life cosmetic thing. So no matter what, your sconce will always be maxed out. Or a torch. Some good uses of it would be this right here. The green burning iron torch uses guck to fuel it. So by having Torches Eternal, you effectively remove the need to farm guck, which is a, in my opinion, a pretty rare resource. It only grows in swamps, on certain trees and swamps, and I think the respawn timer on it is pretty low. Going into the next one, just going down the list, we have craft from containers. It's very similar to autofuel, where autofuel pulls from it to fuel your furnace and smelter and your blast furnace. Craft from containers allows you to do exactly as it says. Craft from containers. So go here, and it will show me. The other cool thing about it too is that it will show you your max quantity that you have in your chest. So right here it's showing that I have 103 pieces of copper, but I only need 8. So I'm able to use this without having to worry about constantly running back and forth. One thing I would highly recommend though with crafting from craft from containers is to turn off the auto fuel part, because it does have a fuel component as well. So we're going to turn that off so that way it doesn't interfere with auto fuel. We're going to go down here to Epic Loot next. Epic Loot is a way to give the game a Diablo or just a general looter feel, where items have rarity, they have values, and makes each piece of gear feel unique. So if you look up, and I'm sure you've already noticed, my gear has different colors. And it goes, it goes blue, yellow, blue, yellow, purple, green, as far as the rarity of everything. So we use these components here. They're a new component just for Epic Loot. And so my silver sword here, just as an example, has, It has slash damage increased by 34. It has attack stamina use minus 29%, lifesteal, indestructible, and etc. So it's a way to really customize your build, and I highly recommend it. Then you can go into your menu now. There's now a compendium that explains what everything does. So if you ever need to go in here and be like, I want to farm for this, you can do so. And it's just a good vibe to the game. Adds a lot of customization. Hold on, my cat's being... It adds a lot of customization. It also updates Hodder's stock intake, which is also super nice because it gives him a lot of variety. He has rotating stock now. So if you don't have time to farm, or you just want to run bounties, which are a new component for it, you can do so. Then to follow that up, the next mod I downloaded was Creatures Level. Let's see. While this is loading, we'll look it up real quick. Creature Level and Loot Control. It's a way to make the game a lot more difficult, add variety to enemies, etc. To the point where there's now, let's see, I think 5 or 6? I'm trying to think now. There's silver, blue, light blue, purple, green, and red. So 6 new star colors. And they make the enemies either stronger, more tanky, they can regen their health, they can split into smaller stars, they can be curious, and then they can be faster, I think is the last one. So it's, you never know what you're going to get until you fight them. And then since I have all of these mods on my weapons from Epic Loot, I actually have it set so the highest or the strongest that an enemy will be is 5 stars now. Just so that I can have a little bit more challenge where it's not me being super overpowered. But going back to the Epic Loot mod, we'll talk to the vendor. We have bounties, treasure maps. We can gamble, so we can buy a piece of gear with random effects, which is really cool. And then secret stash, which is a way to get your crafting components. And then, of course, to the left, you still have your basic shop. So it adds a little bit nice little touch to it. So let this load. So up next we have equipment slots and quick slots. It's another way to customize your loadout, which you all saw earlier with this, having my gear off to the side. So if I want, so that way it doesn't take up this space while you're farming. You still have the same weight capacity unless you have armor and buffs from here. Carry weight plus 30, plus 150 from Megging Yord. So it moves it off to the side so that way it doesn't take up your precious inventory slots. There's a new one that's out called Backpack. I might download that, and it gives you another section here to store more stuff in. Up next, mass farming. Now, mass farming and seed totem go hand in hand. Seed totem looks like the wards. Oh, I moved it to the hammer. So it looks like the ward, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, takes fine wood, gray dwarf eyes, certling core, and an ancient seed, but it'll plant stuff for you so you don't have to. And at first, I thought it was a really great thing to do and use because it allowed me to not babysit my plants. And then when you wanted to go and farm your plants, all you had to do is punch the totem, everything would pop up, and it was really nice. But the drawback to it was I had to be at my farm until it fully planted. So if I'm here at this base, which is my first base, I originally had my garden here. So each one has a little plot. I had a sea totem right in the middle. And you can assign it specific plants or seeds so that way it would take care of it on its own. But it worked fine for the carrots and turnips, did not work for the flax and barley because I was never in the plains that long. So what I did was I swapped to the other other mod called mass farming. So if I were to sit here, I can now plant groups of 5x5, and then it just plops it down, and you go from there. It does not work with plant everything, which would be the next one we're going to go over. Plant everything allows you to do exactly what it says. Plant everything. We'll go back over to the other base real quick, just so I can show you. But anything that you have in the game that is plantable, you can plant. Blueberry bushes, raspberry, cloudberry, thistle, birch trees. So we all know how much we like to use fine wood and everything. So now you can grow. Oh, that's right. I didn't grow it there. I didn't plant it there. And already cut them down. But anyways, there's a seed now called birch sapling, or birch pine cone, I think. Birch cone. And you can plant those, so that way you can farm your fine wood. And then as you can see over here, I planted a row of raspberry bushes so that you can, so I can have a good supply without having to run a mile into the woods to find a cluster and then make my way back. And then I have thistle here, so that way we can have potions. Nothing like trying to make blood pudding or sausage and not realizing that you don't have enough thistle. I think thistle is probably the ingredient I run out of the most. The other cool thing is it allows you to plant cosmetic stuff. So I'm able to put vines up on my buildings, plant bushes around other parts of my village, just to give it a little bit of a slice of life and, look better, in my opinion. So between the farming and the cosmetic appeal, plant everything is worth its weight in gold. And lastly, what I have is Project Aga, and that is simply a user interface overhaul. So as you can see, we have our crafting stuff. Everything's clean. It's modern, I guess is the best way I can describe it. It affects down here at the bottom. It affects the way your health bar and your stamina looks. It actually breaks down your stats. So my carrot soup is going to last for another 23 minutes. My fish wraps another 8 minutes. Shows my active effects here. My current health between the base and the food. And then my stamina between the base and the food. One thing I find interesting is I thought I had health increase, but yeah, health plus 30. Huh, so it's considering it to be food. Now I know. But anyways, so that is the recap on my mods. Actually, that is not true. It's not on this list. There's one more I use, and I would say it's a little controversial. Um, because a lot of people would say that what it does defeats a huge portion of the game. But it's called. Drawing a blank. It is called non restricted portals. And what non restricted portals does is it allows me to run through the portals carrying any of the component, like metals, dragon eggs, anything like that that you would normally not be able to transport, you can now transport. You can as well customize what you want it to be able to do. I'm just trying to find out where that setting is, because I didn't see it on the F1 screen. Yeah, I'll have to find out where it is. But yeah, it allows you to customize what you can take through portals, what you can't. And since I only play Valheim when I'm streaming, and I don't always necessarily have, the time to waste a day sailing after mining for the iron or silver. So it does take away a huge field of the game. There's nothing like having a boat full of a resource and then being chased down by a serpent, especially if that serpent's a 5-star one that just pops out of nowhere to ruin your day. It does take away that feel of the game, but it allows me to focus on building my creations without having to worry about wasting a lot of time. So, yeah, that is the mods I use. And if you have any other questions about them, don't hesitate to ask. I'd be more than happy to go into further, explaining what they do and how I use them. But that is just a quick overview. So, yeah.